Hi everyone, this is Brenda from Mainly Hybrid Homesteading. I hope you're all doing well today. Thanks for joining me. Today is September 7th and thought I'd give you a garden tour and an update. You can see I've been doing some painting today as well, just taking advantage of the nice weather that we've been having, the dry weather. So let's get started with our tour. So here in our first raised bed, we have some parsley that's doing well. The arugula is finally coming up. Haven't tried it yet. I'm not sure. It's been trying to grow all summer. It's probably a little tough or bitter maybe. And then we have some beets here that are struggling to get going. And over here in this garden bed, I have some echinacea that I started from seed, and it looks like we're getting a good bed of those established. And over here we have some cucumbers that a second planting, and the cucumber beetles were really infesting these, so I was spraying them with some neem oil, and was also reading that some of these yellow sticky papers would help attract and catch some of them. But look at those two down there, little buggers. So maybe we can get them to fly into. Really want to try to get a handle on the cucumber beetles because they carry disease, and I'm seeing it in the areas that they have been in the garden. They're not particular to just cucumbers. They've been pretty much attacking a lot of other things that I've been growing this summer. So these cucumber plants are still flowering, hoping to get some cucumbers out of them, even though they've had a rough start. Our lemon balm is doing very well. It's pretty much time for me to start harvesting this and drying some of it. And here the chamomile is also growing and starting to bloom. So I've been picking a couple little flowers here and there. But again, it's getting established, and hopefully it'll be bigger and better next summer. And back here, we had a beautiful head of cabbage growing, but something definitely got into it. I knew that, the outer leaves had some holes and stuff, but yeah, this is not going to be edible, but it'll be good for the compost pile. Okay, back here in the far corner, we are starting to get some green beans, or yellow beans, I should say. And looks like I missed one here. Not the best harvest. Oh, and there's a couple over there. And the pole beans are still struggling over here. And I do have another patch of cucumbers here, which they don't appear to be infested with the cucumber beetles, but I think they got a little dry over the weekend, over Labor Day weekend. And our calendula is doing fabulous. I'm definitely going to be replanting this every year. I have been harvesting some of the flowers because I do want to make some oils and salves and so forth with it. But I'm also, some of them I was not able to pick when it was prime, I guess. And so just letting them go to seed. And they will reseed here in the garden as well. The cabbages over here are not doing as well as the one that we had in the other area. And here are the green pepper plants. Boy, these plants are tough. They've been eaten by the deer twice, and they are flowering now, and I do have some small little baby peppers here. Another one over there. So we might get a couple of green peppers. We'll have to keep an eye on the frost calendar. On the other side of the pole beans, we have some snap peas or snow peas that we've got growing, a second crop, and those are looking well. I'm not seeing any yet. And then we do have some Swiss chard that is loving the cooler nights. And the lettuce actually decided to grow again after the deer ate it. But some of it is starting to go to seed. Over here we have plenty of basil surrounding the tomato plants. Got a big plant there. I still have yet to harvest them, and it looks like they might be flowering. The tomatoes are doing amazing. I've already picked a few that are ripening in the house, but the plants that we do have quite a few tomatoes, so definitely be able to make at least one batch of salsa. And here's our other green bean patch. We have started to get some from this area as well as the pole beans on this side. And I do have some smaller plants here that have been struggling, and we have a lot of little toads around here this summer. And over here, I have 4 plants of comfrey that have been transplanted that I had started inside, and those are doing well. Don't believe I'll have enough to harvest any this year, but they've got a good start, and they'll be coming back next year. The green onions are doing very well. This cucumber patch here is still producing some cucumbers. We might get like 1 or 2 a day, but you can see that the vines are struggling. They are starting to get yellow. We still have some flowers, and I had better luck catching some bugs with this yellow sticky sheet here. And having an issue with my carrots this year. I'm not sure what's happening. The leaves are turning brown. And the carrots are fine in the ground, but usually I can let these grow until well into October, and even after a frost or 2. But my other carrot patch, this is what it looks like. All of the leaves have died. Maybe the deer ate them, but they were turning brown before this happened. But I didn't see my garden for like 4 days, so but Tim has been picking from this patch, and the carrots are good. So I think I will be picking these early and at least storing them in the fridge until I can can them. So the beets are looking good. Definitely could harvest some leaves and get some greens. Our wild lettuce is continuing to grow, and our potatoes did get infested with some potato beetles, and Tim did pick some in that patch over there. We probably got about 10 potatoes, small to medium size. So these vines are getting ravaged, or they were ravaged. So we'll probably seeing what we have under the ground here, and we got another patch back there. The turnips that I planted here in the middle of all the potatoes, they're doing great. beautiful looking greens. So we are having some butternut squash. Everything seems to be late this year. So we do have a couple small butternut squashes. See, this is only like the size of my hand. It's kind of cute. I read somewhere that last year I had issues with, I had them laying on the ground, and some of them had a couple like little rotten spots started. So I was reading that if you put them on a little board, then that'll avoid that problem. So we'll find out. So overall, the butternut squash vines look healthy. I do have another little squash here at the end of the vine. So those are the only two I have growing. There are some other flowers, so hopefully we'll have some more. And broccoli, the plants look nice, you know, except for a few bug holes here and there, but none of them are flowering yet. But if I do remember right, they flowered around this time last year, so they still have time. And like I said, everything seems late this year or delayed because of all the rain we had most of the summer. This marigold plant is like 4 feet tall. I can't wait for it to flower. It started out with a little sad looking seedling that I had started. Dill, I do need to harvest some here, and some of them are already like going to seed. And this turnip patch may only be good for the greens. I have pulled a few out, and it's just a slender looking root. It's not, it's about the, they're about the size of a pencil, so not going to get anything out of that. And here we have our Mizuna greens. It did not have enough to harvest this year, but you can see that we are forming some seed pods. And these are really cool. I'm going to let them mature a little bit, and then you let them dry, and you open them up, and inside is a bunch of little seeds. The lettuce that I planted over here is still growing, still struggling. The sweet potato vines have recovered from the deer, and those look healthy. Our spaghetti squash, I did harvest one, and there was a wormhole on the underside of it, and I cut it open, and sure enough, one of those vine borer maggot things was in there. Actually, there was more than one. Disgusting. Do have one growing here, and I don't know if it'll reach maturity or not. The vine doesn't look the healthiest to support, you know, like a lot more growth. I do have one here at the end of the vine, but I don't know if Ellie took a chunk out of it or the weed whacker did. And we have some radishes here. Hopefully they will become a little bigger. And the patch that I have here for string beans still have only like 5 plants growing. They are not producing yet, and just some sparse beets starting to grow. Another big marigold plant, and a second planting of zucchini and summer squash here. There are some yellow leaves, but I haven't seen any signs, knock on wood, of any bugs. But look, I have a little baby summer squash. I didn't get any summer squash from my other plants because they just didn't make it with all the bugs. So overall, it's been a disappointing gardening season. if we were to need this garden to survive, we would not survive. So I think the weather played a lot into the failure of some of the things in the garden. Some things did very well. Some things really liked the rain. But I think a lot of the pests that we had definitely did not help. We are planning on using the greenhouse more next summer, spring, summer, fall, and hopefully that will give us better results. And we just have to remember to water it when it's in there, but at least we can control the weather conditions in the greenhouse. And we might have to even make another one or make this one bigger if that's what we're going to be doing. And I also plan on moving my squash far away from the garden, growing it in pots next year to see if I can just avoid the squash bugs altogether and the other bugs that were eating them. Well, let me know what struggles you've had with your garden this year. It's definitely been a challenge here in New England, and we do need to add more nutrition to our soil. I know that, but it's always a learning process. Thanks for joining me today. Please like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't already done so. We'll see you next time. Bye.